And the question is, economic part of sunflower is. Options are capitula, leaf, stem, and root. So the correct answer is capitula. So this is the economical part, the part you can sell to make a money. Okay. So for sunflower, we usually grow it mainly for oil, right? So the oil comes from the seeds, and the seeds are packed inside the flower head. So botanically, sunflower head is called as capitulum or capitula. It is not a single flower, but the hundreds of tiny florets are there. Okay, so the whole head with the seeds is the economical part of sunflower. Got it? And why others are wrong is that leaf, it is generally used as a fodder sometimes, right? But not as a main economic part, and no commercial value. It is not having any value. And stem, it is used for fuel or paper pulp after harvest. But it is a byproduct only, not a primary income. And root, this doesn't have any economical use. Okay, so students think seed should be the answer, but the thing is that, if seed is not an option, pick the option capitula, which is the head, because seeds are inside it. Capitula means head with the seeds. Okay, so sunflower sells it head. Like that, you can easily remember. And the next question is, what the requirement of rice crop is? Options are 700, 1200, 2500, 500 mm. So the correct answer is 1200 mm. This is the most common textbook value. So the rice is semi-aquatic crop and grown in standing water, right? So it requires water for puddling, transpiration, evaporation, and all. So the standard total water requirement for the transplanted rice is usually, varied from 1000 to 1500 mm. But the most common textbook value is 1200 mm. Okay, so that is 1.2 meters of water per crop season. Okay, and 700 mm, which is too low, that is the water requirement for the crops like wheat or maize. Okay, so rice would fail in this. And 2500 mm, it is too high, and only in very sandy soil with a high percolation, it is suitable for not, it is not an correct answer for this. And 500 mm, usually rice dies at 500 mm. And this 500 mm is the water requirement for the dryland crops like bajra, Jover and all. Okay, so the correct answer is 1200 mm for the average condition. Okay, so remember one thing, wheat generally requires 600 to 700 mm. So you can remember rice needs twice the amount of what requirement of wheat. Okay, the next question is, Hooverman's friend crop is, and the options given for this are rice, potato, pearl millet, or kambu, tapioca. So the correct answer is pearl millet, that is kambu. Hooverman crop means that crop that usually grows in poor soil and needs very less water and gives the maximum food security to marginal farmers. And it is generally cheap and also the nutritious one. That is kambu, which is also known as pure millet or bajra. Okay, so it is a drought tolerant crop, usually grows in sandy or low fertile soil and matures within 3 months. And this is the staple food crop also in many of the dry regions of Rajasthan, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat. Okay, since it is, rich in iron, protein, and fiber. So this will fight the hidden hunger for many poor people. Okay, And rice, this will need a lot of water and good soil and high input. This is very, very expensive to grow as per. So this is called a staple crop, but not a poor man's friend. Okay, so this is not a correct answer. And potato, which is the poor man vegetable, we can tell. So it is also mentioned in some books, but it requires the cool climate, good soil. Again, it needs a costly seeds. Okay, and this is also the not a drought crop. It requires the chill climate. And tapioca, this is the poor man crop in Kerala. But globally, Kambu or Bajra, this one gets this title in most of the exams. In TNPSC ISO exams and all, we can expect this kind of questions. Poor man friends, that is uh, usually going to Kambu. That goes to Kambu. Okay. Poor man's friend or crop. So you should pick the answer Kambu, Bajra, 12 millet. If it says poor man's meat means you should pick the answer soybean. If there is poor man's vegetable means you should pick the answer potato. Okay. The next question is sugar content in bricks of sweet sorghum juice varies from. So the answer is 16 to 23%. So you should know what is bricks. Bricks is the percentage of soluble solids, mainly sugar in juice. So how many percentage of soluble sugar present in the juice? So sweet sorghum is grown specifically for its juicy and sugary stalks. Okay, so that can be used for ethanol and janggery production and all. So unlike sorghum, this sweet sorghum stalks have high juice with the Brix value around 16 to 23%. Okay, and if the Brix value is more than 16%, then it is highly recommended for or good for ethanol production. Okay, so the correct option is 16 to 23%. So if it is 30 to 40 means it is way too high. So that is the bricks of sugarcane juice. After boiling or thick syrup, that is not a raw sorghum juice. So raw sugarcane juice itself more than 20 bricks itself having the more than 20% bricks. So it is not a correct answer for sorghum juice, sweet sorghum juice. And 8 to 10% again it is too low. It is a bricks value for normal fodder sorghum or immature sweet sorghum. Okay, so the bricks value is too low. So commercially it is not appreciable. Okay, and the commercial sweet sorghum must cross 16%. So to be economical. So the correct answer is 16 to 23%. Because sweet sorghum is having sweet stock that contains high brix value 16 to 23%. Okay, so you can remember like sweet 16 sorghum. Yes, yes, yes. Sweet 16 sorghum and sweet sorghum 16. So every word starts with S. You can easily remember in that way. Okay. The next question is production of wheat during the year 2016-17 is estimated at the record level of. So the correct answer is 98.38 million tons. Yes. As per fourth advanced estimate Ministry of Agriculture, wheat production in 2016-17 is 98.38 million tons. So this was a record at the time. Okay. So India crossed 90 million tons first time in 2011 to 12. Then it hit 98 million ton in 2016-17 due to the good monsoon and the new variety release like HT2N67 and all. Okay, and others you should also discuss, like you should see the other options also. 43, this is close to pulse production, not to wheat. Okay, so wheat is India's second largest crop after rice. So 143, this is also too high for wheat. This is closer to rice production range, not for wheat. Okay, and 208, this is also too high. Okay, this is not the relevant option for this wheat production during 2016 to 17. Okay, the next question is, when compared to total oilseed production in 2015-16, so the total oilseed production in 2016-17 is higher by. They ask with the differences. Okay. Anyway, in 2016, the production will be higher than the last year, 2015-16. They asked how much the production has been increased when compared to the last year. The difference they asked. So the options given for this are 6, 3, 9, 12.85 million tons. So the correct option is 6.85 million tons. So before studying about this, you should know how much production was gained in the last year. So thing is that as per Ministry of Agriculture fourth advance estimate, total oilseed production in 2015-16 is 25.25 million tons. Okay, and the total oilseed production in 2016-17 is 32.10 million tons. So the difference is 6.85 million tons. So this much tons were higher than the last year. Okay, because 2016-17 year was a good monsoon year after 2 drought years, right? So the major jump came from soybean and groundnut production. Okay, and why others are wrong? These 3 point is again too low. Uh, this is not a correct answer. And 9.85, this is too high, right? So that would mean that 35 million tons in 2016-17, so which didn't happen. Okay, and 12.85, this is also way off, too high. So that's like nearly 50% increase. So that much oilseed production increase was not happening. So we didn't find that was that much difference between these 2 years. So the correct option is 6.85 million tons. And the next question is, Thaladi season is in Tamil Nadu. Generally, we have three different traditional paddy cultivation seasons. You should know about this. One is Kuruvai, Samba, and Thaladi. These three are different traditional paddy cultivation season. Okay, so together they maximize the utilization of monsoon rains and the Cauvery River water across the Cauvery Delta regions. So here the question is asked, which season is Thaladi season? So the options given for this are October, January, June, September, August, December, January, March. So why they are giving like this? So these are all the sowing season. In which month they usually go for sowing, and these are all the months for which they usually go for harvesting. Okay, so Thaladi season, which is also known as medium term. Okay, and the timing is here is it is usually sown in September, October. So September, October, or November. In during this period, the rice will be sown. Okay, and this will be harvested in February. The duration will be like a medium duration, 120 to 135 days. So that's why this particular season is known as medium term. Medium duration crops and all can be sown. Okay, and the water resources usually, utilize the residual moisture from the Kuruvai field. Okay, and the peak of the northeast monsoon. And also you should know the common varieties used during this season. ADT 38, ADT 39, and Coimbatore 43. ADT means Adudurai. 38, 39, and Coimbatore 43. These three varieties are commonly used during this season, Thaladi season, where the rice varieties are sown in October, November, and harvested in January, February. It is like a medium or a medium term or a medium duration varieties. Okay, And what about June, September? So this is like Kuruvai season. Means that the rice varieties usually sown in June, July and harvested around September, October. Okay, so duration is short term. So short term season, that is Kuruvai season. Short duration varieties of less than 120 days. Okay, it usually starts from June to September. June, July, August, September. That is less than 120 days. Okay, so here the water source where it is highly dependent on the timely release of water from the Metu dam or groundwater and all. And the common varieties you should know ADT 36 and IR varieties can be usually sown. IR 50, IR 64 and all. Okay, and one more season is there, that is Samba season, which is long term. Long duration crops usually be grown in this season. Okay, so here the varieties are sown in August month and harvested by January. So you know that is August, September, October, November, December. That is more than 120 around, which comes around 150 days, right? It is a long duration crop which require more than 145 to 150 days to complete their life cycle. So here it is heavily rely on the northeast monsoon. Okay, October to December. Usually it comes around this season, and it will get the benefit out of it. Okay, and the common varieties grown are white pony, Coimbatore 43, and IR 20. And the premium Siraga Samba can also be cultivated during this season. What season? Samba season. That is where the seeds were sown in August and harvested in January. Okay, so the Thaladi is the middle term, which is October to January. That is 120 days. Okay. So here the question is asked, which one is Kuruvai season? That we have already discussed in the previous slide. So as I said, there are three different rice seasons prevailing in Tamil Nadu: Kuruvai, Samba, and Thaladi. Kuruvai is the short duration varieties can be sown during this season. So this is also known as short term, right? So usually starts from June and it will be ended up in September. So the varieties are sown in June month and it will be harvested in September month, and it is having less than 120 days. Okay, so IR varieties like IR 50, 64 and ADT 36 and 43 can be usually grown in this season. Okay, so whenever you are studying the season, you should also remember other two seasons also. Kuruvai, Samba, and Thaladi. There are three different seasons. Kuruvai is the medium, and Kuruvai is the short term, and Samba is the long term, and Thaladi is the medium term. Okay. The next question is repetitive growing of same soil crop in the same land is called as. Options are mixed cropping, polyculture, intercropping, monoculture. So the correct answer is monoculture. So the keywords here: repetitive, same soil crop, same land. So what is monoculture? Growing one single crop, that is same soil crop, repeated, that is repetitive growing, right? On the same land. Here also the same land is given. Season after season. So growing one single crop repeatedly on the same land, season after one season after another season, right? So the example, rice, 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 or wheat, 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 like that. That is monoculture. So the crop should be same and the land should be same. So that is called monoculture. Okay. And mixed cropping, it is wrong because here we will grow more than two crops simultaneously on same growing land without row arrangement. For example, we can go with wheat with any grams, wheat with pulses, that is mixed cropping. Okay. And polyculture means growing many crops together or simultaneously on the same land. Okay, so it is like a border term, includes both mixed plus intercropping. That is poly. polyculture. Okay, and intercropping, which is opposite of sole crop. So growing 2+ crops simultaneously in the definite rows, that is intercropping. Okay, so the correct answer is monoculture. The next question is the peak rainfall season of Tamil Nadu is. Options are summer, northeast season, southwest season, and winter. And the correct answer is northeast monsoon. So Tamil Nadu is an exception in India, right? So while most of the India gets 75% rain from southwest monsoon, that usually happens from June to September. But during that period, Tamil Nadu will get only 32% from this monsoon. Okay, so Tamil Nadu peak rainfall, that is around 48% of annual rainfall usually comes from northeast monsoon. That usually happens from October to December. So what is the reason means that Western Ghats usually block the southwest monsoon, but northeastern monsoon winds pick the moisture from Bay of Bengal and hits the Tamil Nadu east coast directly. So that's why. Okay, so the peak rainy season in Tamil Nadu usually occurs during the northeast monsoon, which spans from October through December. So during this time, the coastal regions like Chennai, Puducherry, and Kaveri Delta region will get majority of the annual rainfall, and it may get the heavy thunderstorms and the deep depressions also. And also, you should remember, while much of the India relies on southwest monsoon, which usually happens June to September. Okay, that is very important. The next question is Phalaris minor is a major weed in which crop? So the option given for this are rice, wheat, sorghum, tobacco. So the common name of Phalaris minor is canary grass. It is a grassy weed, usually prevailing in wheat. So it looks almost like wheat in the early stages. It looks similar to wheat. So farmers may confuse with the wheat. So they used to call it as a mimicry wheat because it resembles the wheat crop. And also this wheat grows in Rabi season with wheat, and it will make a competition with the wheat crop for water, nutrients, and light. So that the wheat yield will be reduced by 30 to 80% if it is not controlled. So it is a one of the biggest problem in Punjab, Haryana, and Uttar Pradesh and all. This wheat problem. Okay, this wheat problem is the biggest one. And rice, here the major weeds are echinoclova, that is banyan grass, cypress grass, and all. So Phalaris minor doesn't grow in puddled rice field, so it is not an option for this. And sorghum, this is the Kharif season. So Phalaris minor is the Rabi season weed, so it is not having the relevance. And tobacco, here the weed is Warabank or broom rape. That is total root parasite. Okay, and that is not having any relevance with the Phalaris minor. Understood? Yes. The next question is Queen of cereal is, and the options given for this are rice, wheat, maize, ragi. So the correct answer is maize. Maize is called as queen of cereal. Okay, because this is the most versatile crop, right? And it can be able to produce maximum biomass per unit area. And why not rice means even though it is a stable crop for more than 50% of population, it is not considered as the queen of cereal. Okay, and wheat is king of cereal. So wheat gains a common title, king of cereal. Okay, due to the acreage and chapati culture in India. And this is also called a stuff of life. So king of cereal is wheat and queen of cereal is maize. Okay, and ragi, which is the uh, common one, it is not having relevance with the queen and king. Okay, and also you should know what is the king of millet, that is sorghum. Okay, and also you should know what is king of pulses, that is chickpea. Okay, and queen of pulses is pea, Pisum sativum, that is pea. Okay, okay, and king of fodder crop is berseem, that is also you should know. Okay,